Are you having trouble reaching out to that special person in your life? A local writer says she can help you touch the heart of someone you love with a love letter. Well, sometimes it's not just the words that matter, but that you took the time to write a love letter from your heart that can add just that spark that your relationship needs, whether you've been dating for 2 months, married for 2 years, or 20 years. Christine Armesto helps others write love letters for a living. She's here with help for those of us who have trouble finding just the right words. Call and get some tips from her, 644-9840. Of course, that's later on our show. Thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
You know, is there a key to writing the perfect love letter?
No, there isn't a key to writing the perfect love letter. No, and it all depends on the situation, and they're all different. So what we do is the people come in, they present the situation to me, what's going on in the particular relationship. We sit down, we talk. There's actually counseling involved.
Okay.
And they let me know what it is they want from the result of the letter and what it is they want from, you know, from the relationship, and then we go from there and we start writing.
Okay, Christine, we're going to talk to you a little bit later. Get some help writing your love letter, 644-9840. Our West New York Live lines are open. Again, that's later in the show. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. A famous line from Elizabeth Browning's many sonnets titled Sonnets from the Portuguese. This Valentine's Day and every day, find a special way to say I love you to your significant other with a love letter. Use one from a famous writer like Browning, or write one yourself. It could help put that spark back into your relationship. And here to show us all how to do it is Christine Armesto. She's owner of Love Letters by Cyrano, and her client, Henry Hoffman III. We thank you both for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Henry, let me start with you. Why did you seek Christine's help?
Well, about 10 years ago, I happened to utilize Christine for her resume service, and I had some thoughts that I wanted to put on paper and just didn't know how to express them in the form of love.
Why would you say you had so much trouble putting it down on paper?
Well, I had enough thoughts and enough material, but it had to be constructed in the right way to get the point across to the individual.
And you were writing this love letter to whom?
Oh, to an old friend of mine that I happen to have a relationship with, back in our high school days.
Okay. All right. Were you able to rekindle the relationship with your love letter, or?
That's what we're trying to do right now.
Okay. Okay. So are you putting words down on paper? I think of kids' poetry, like, you know, rhyming words, or is it more?
I'll do that. I'll do whatever a client wants me to do. If a client wants a poem, I'll write a poem for them. I've done that. If the client wants a letter, we'll write a letter. If the client just wants a card, they want something small, we'll make a, you know, phrase, some kind of phrase to put into a shorter format.
Okay. So, Henry, would you say Christine helped you?
Yes. Yes, very much so. Like I said, with all the ideas in my head, I could have went on for 20 to 30 pages, I think, but it had to be consolidated into one format of 1 page or shorter. Okay.
How about, would you mind sharing an example of what you worked on with Christine?
Sure. Chris? Would you like to
do that?
Yes, I think.
Well, we can do that, but in this case, I mean, it's going to be a little difficult because you don't really have the background of this particular situation.
You just gave us a short
but I can give you.
Okay.
Well, okay, Henry, why don't you? Do you want to give her a little short synopsis of what the situation is?
Well, like I said, I think it was just the lack of communication in the past was the biggest concern of mine.
Okay.
And that I wanted to rekindle that communication. That was the biggest start. So not getting too mushy, should we say, I still wanted to express my feelings.
All right.
But he also, this particular person, I mean, also is ill, has become ill. And as Henry has tried to communicate with her, he has felt that she has been a little standoffish. Not because she doesn't care for Henry, but because she may be very self-conscious about her particular condition at this point in time.
Okay, so let's read a couple lines.
Okay. So,
Henry, would you like to read?
I would have Christine get into it.
Okay. So, dear whomever, as you know, I suffered a great, sudden, and unexpected setback in my life in 1995. It's not that this is the reason I am contacting you now, but sometimes when someone is going through something as difficult, it helps to know there is someone else who cares, has been in a similar position, and has some inkling of understanding of the sense of loneliness and the chill that runs through you when your health is threatened and there is no certainty about the future, your future. Your life stops, and it seems your heart stops with it. It's as though you're suddenly blind because you can't see a day ahead of you clearly. The only thing for certain is your need for courage, and it goes on from there.
Okay, all right. So within that, certainly not mushy at all, but expressing your thoughts, putting your feelings down on paper, and hopefully something more will happen from there.
That's correct.
Yes, yes, and we end it with him. Do you want me to just read the ending to you?
Sure.
Okay, I'll just read the ending because it goes on from there. But the ending, he says, "Throughout much of my life, you've always occupied a small place in my heart. I sensed you were a special person when we were kids and realized after seeing you at the high school reunion that nothing about that had changed. Things of a more spiritual nature rarely do. As I told you, your intelligence, your everything intimidated me when we were kids, and I was not easily intimidated. It's simply not my nature to be put off by anyone or thing. I was definitely infatuated. Although that was back then, after seeing you at the reunion, I had to congratulate myself on my good taste. If you want someone to talk to, I'm still here, Henry."
So certainly leaving the door open.
Right.
Is that the way you, when you're writing this type of letter, leaving the door open?
Well, it all depends. But when they tell me about the person,
Okay.
I'll try to get a feel for the psychology of what I feel is going on in that person's life and that person's psychology, and I'm pretty good at that. And then I'll fashion the letter from there. In this sense, I could see we do not want to take too assertive of a position because this person is not feeling well and so on and so forth, is, you know, very self-conscious about her condition, I'm sure.
How would you construct a letter, say, between married people? They've been married for 15, 20 years.
I've done letters for married people,
Okay.
but it all depends. I mean, what's going on in the relationship? Are they on the verge of divorce? Are they still madly in love with each other? Or are they still in love with each other, but...
Let's say for if they're still madly in love with each other.
They're still...
Off the top of your head.
Okay.
Give us a line or two.
Oh, God. Well, I'm still madly in love with you.
Very simple.
Right. Right.
Keep it simple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend doing a lot of research or looking at other poems by other artists or other writers?
No, we don't need to. No, 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 because I believe there's a poet inside every individual, and especially when they're dealing with deep emotion. And you know, that poet will come out of that person as they're sitting with me, the more poetic part of themselves, and it does.
Sometimes it just helps to talk about it, to bring it out to the...
Yeah, to be with someone that you feel comfortable with and someone who's helping you get in touch with your own feelings. And amazing things come out of people in an atmosphere and in an environment like that, and that's what I find.
Henry, do you, I guess, will you be honest with this other person that you had help writing this letter?
Oh, of course I would. Because I think of my expression itself, by Christine utilizing the words in the right fashion, in the proper manner, she helps me to express myself. And through this, I think I couldn't do it without her. Or I couldn't do it without the professional help along the way.
Is there something to say, and we talked a little bit about this before the show started, stereotypically speaking, that men have more trouble putting their words or what they feel on paper rather than women?
Yes, I think that's true. As I said, when guys talk with guys, I think the conversation deteriorates from the love and builds onto other things. So with a female and with a neutral party involved, I think is the key here, you can express yourself a little more easily, and this is what I've come to find. Christine
Armesto's shop, place of business, Love Letters by Cyrano. We think of Cyrano de Bergerac, that person who spoke for others. And we thank you so much for being here. Henry
welcome.
Hoffman as well.
Thank you.
Good luck with you on your relationship.